yeah! I like that one, guys. I like that one. Nice.
Woo. Joining me today, I'm out here at the Bass Hole Tackle Shop here on beautiful Bethel Island, here in the heart of the Delta. I'm with Rob Cloutier. We're going to be talking about topwater baits. We're going to cover everything from frogs to poppers to walking baits. And as usual, I'm going to have Rob cover the baits, but we're also going to talk about, I'll probably have some questions for you, Rob, what rods you're throwing, what lines you're throwing, how to match these up so that if somebody comes in here and wants to buy a bait, you can kind of give them some suggestions on the rods that they'll need to use to throw certain baits. So, Rob, take it away. You want to start with the frogs? You want to start with where do you want to start?
We'll start with frogs.
All right.
My favorite, one of my favorites, we got the Snag Proof, Bobby's Perfect, bluegill color. I'm digging that bluegill color right now. Mm-hmm. Again, you have all these fish that are coming up here, done spawning, getting ready to spawn, bluegill are spawning. They do not want these bluegill around them. They have a hate for them. They want to eat them. Get that guy up near them, they're going to eat that frog right there. That's the Bobby's Perfect. I also like that new Smash Mouth that came out right there. And I like the white one in this one. I like because I can see it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I tend to lose sight of that bluegill one as much.
What's the difference between the two?
So now the difference between the Smash Mouth and the Bobby's Perfect is we have a cut mouth on the end right here, going to be giving that pop, that flare. It doesn't walk just as well as the Bobby's Perfect. It still will walk, but it gives out a little bit more spitting, a little bit more flare, just something different, just kicking around a little bit more water. So I tend to go with the white one or an all black one there on those guys. Those are two of my favorites. I'm also digging these new copper red baits. If you guys haven't checked these out yet, you guys need to. He has 3 sizes in these guys. This is the jumbo. We also have the medium guy right there, and then we also have his new version, the little guy right there. So he's covering all 3 sizes of this right here. This one is really special to me right here. Mm-hmm. We get these big cheese mats out here, right? And you're throwing that frog, and that frog's landing on that cheese, and it's hopping across, and it's going like this, and the cheese ain't even moving. Mm-hmm. And you might get 1 or 2 that come up and kiss it and stuff like that. That Snag Proof frog, it just kind of, it's light, right? Mm-hmm. And what I typically do is I'll fill them full of water and I'll throw it on the cheese and walk it back. But again, filling it with water, it miss a lot of bites because then fish come up and grab it, and it's got so much stuff in there so that hook doesn't get exposed like I want it to. So Copper Red has came out with the big frog right here.
That's the tsunami frog.
This is the tsunami frog right here. This guy is a beast right here. It will move mats, it will move water, and you can launch this thing a quarter mile.
And it walks like a spook.
Walks like a spook.
They advertise that as the best walking bait or the best walking frog on the market, and I do believe it is the easiest. Yep. I mean, if you can't walk that, you can't walk any frogs. And while you have those out, Rob, when we get into summertime and there's these mats and people are going to go out and they know they have to have a frog rod on the boat, is it necessary to have more than one dedicated frog rod? I know you say you have 3 or 4 rods.
Yep.
Let me know how, and let the folks know why you have 3 or 4 different frog rods. Are they different sizes, different colors, or are they like you're talking about popping frogs or walking frogs?
Yep, every one of these guys has a specific technique to them, right? This big one, I'm typically only going to be throwing it on gnats. So when I'm coming across the cheese, this guy's on my rod right here, right? So that's one of my rods taken. I typically have 3 to 5 rods set up with frogs when I'm really dedicated into it. That medium guy, open water, right? Pockets, everything else like that. Same thing with the Snag Proof. So I'm going to tie up with that guy too. I'm going to have those guys on 2 rods right there. I'm also going to have this little guy right here because he has a purpose. Those tiny little pockets in the back where you might get one to come up where he's not looking at a big bait. He wants something micro. Again, good hooks on these guys. I want to throw that little guy. So I'll have those. I will also have a buzz frog. I know everybody says, oh, there's no buzz frogs out there. Well, hey, you check this out. You get yourself one of these right here. Okay, and you attach it to the nose of that, and you've just made yourself a buzz frog, especially with that Spro kicking frog right there, another frog that I'll have tied on. I will put this blade on the front of that, and now I've just made myself a buzz frog.
Buzz bait, basically.
That's it, hey, weedless buzz bait, rocking through it. Again, I'll put that trailer hook on there. The hookup ratio on these guys are really good. This is just a good frog in general, and I go with the black on this guy. I like that black color, just gives it a dark silhouette as they're looking up in that cleaner water. The kicker frog, These guys are really cool. This is the Spro. This is the Flappin' Frog 65. Great right out of the package. Really soft, really soft. I don't know if you ever touched one of these yet, but they're pretty cool. And again, I put that buzzbait blade on there, and I make it a buzz frog.
All 65-pound braid, or
all 65-pound braid. But that dude is really cool.
Yeah,
Do not mix that bad boy with anything in your box because it will eat it alive, just like Z-Man.
Z-Man.
Yes, okay. I made the mistake of putting that bad boy with all my...
And you got the new gen, and that's a double-bladed one. It's a little bit smaller and more compact. Can you throw that on a let's say a spinning rod?
Yeah, absolutely you could. You know, I would pair this up with a spinning rod, a 7.3 or a 7.6 in a 3 or 4 power if you can get it, right? And then I would throw this with 65-pound braid, and I'd use like a 3,000 reel, and just keep everything bulkier and beefier. This is first gen's new double buzz bait. This came out. They've got the black, they've got the white, little black bluegillish color right there. They're pretty cool. It looks like we got plastic tri-blades on there. It looks like a 3-blade. Again, I just got these in. They're pretty cool looking. I haven't thrown them yet. Hook looks great. Everything looks great on there. I like them a lot.
Let's bounce back around over here to one of my favorites. You got a couple of these out. I'm glad you brought them, the Ricos. What do you got to say about those things?
You know, these, if you guys haven't thrown a Rico popper yet, you're really missing out. You know, these hands down, one of the best poppers. There's something about the noise they make. They just draw a fish out. And again, I go with that bluegill color or that black color. And the hooks are okay right out of the box. I fish it for a while until you get a couple that'll stretch out, and then I upgrade it to a beefier hook, to a 3X and stuff like that. But there's just something about this guy. Now this, I'm gonna fish completely different right here. I'm throwing this on a 7'3" 3-power rod or a 7'4" 4-power rod, depending on what I'm fishing that day, but I'm throwing 50-pound braid on this right here.
Straight braid?
Straight braid on there. And just a softer tip rod, right? That 3-power I really like. The 4-power, I'll throw it. I'll generally have 2 of these on the deck. Again, back to it, I'll have this black one, I'll have that bluegill. There's a couple other ones that I like too, the Garrett's gill. That's a sweet one. But going back to it, if it's open water, I want that little bit of a lighter rod, that lighter tip on there, that 3-power rod. And then if it's more grassier, there's stuff I'm fishing around where I need a little bit more leverage, I'm gonna bring that 7'4" 4-power rod out. And
just
again,
a lot of fun.
That's
it's fun.
That's good stuff.
How about, you've got one of the things that I've really been looking at too, another one, are these smaller, you know, there was a kind of a trend last year for a lot of the bigger bait manufacturers to come out with, this is by, who is this by?
Trap Bass.
Trap Bass. It's a small size rat.
Yep.
And I would imagine you could throw this on a spinning rod also if you know, either a spinning rod or a lighter, I'll say a medium to medium heavy bait casting rod. But these are nice. Talk about some of these things you got in here.
So these guys are pretty sweet. They came out with this little micro mouse right there. Again, we have a wake bait micro mouse, and I've got them in every color. Just about every color, but they're sweet. They're running about $60, so they're not going to kill you in the bank right there. And they're a good quality build, and they catch fish. My buddy's been throwing this. He threw it all last summer. Did really good. Caught some really good fish on it.
What's the weight on that thing?
You know what? I want to say they're no more than 3/4. They're pretty light.
Okay, so you can throw
you can get away with running it on a spinning rod, a lighter rod. I throw it on a 732 is what I throw it on, and I just slow wake it around docks, whatever, the grass line, stuff like that. It's a pretty sweet little bait.
All right,
you know?
Great. Okay, so Rob, we've covered our frogs. We've covered what else? Buzz baits. We've covered some rats. Ricos. You've got a walking bait here, a new one from Japan, I think.
Yeah.
So let's check that out.
So I just got some stuff in from Japan right here. This is from Valley Hill, Japan company right here. They've got some awesome stick baits right here. Top water baits, spook style baits right there. Come in a couple different sizes, couple different colors. Again, gone back with that bluegill color. I'm real fond of that bluegill color this time of the year. And again, back to that black color right there. These guys are pretty cool. I haven't thrown them yet, just got them in yesterday. Again, company out of Japan. I've got a bunch of stuff, rip baits, top water baits, poppers, spooks, plastics from these guys. Pretty cool. Again, I'm gonna go out this afternoon, throw a couple of these around and see what they do. Some good striper ones, some good bass ones. They look really good. I'm happy with those guys. I hope they put some big fish in the boat.
You've got that Depths Buzz Jet. I haven't thrown that one. You said you like it. I've got the bigger model for stripers, but I haven't seen that small one.
Yeah, this is the Buzz Jet Junior right here. Again, in that black is what I like right now, other than the bluegill. This thing's pretty cool. It's like a hybrid little wake bait, but a little buzz prop on there. Gives kind of a hard knock as it props right there. I like this guy, just searching for fish to come up. I can work it slow. I can work it a little bit faster. Again, you don't need a big rod to throw this. I throw it on the 733, 731 reel, and I'm 50-pound braid on this guy right here.
You could probably throw that with a spinning rod.
Oh, without a doubt you can. Yeah, it's a real light bait. I think you're coming in at a half ounce, 14 grams, so you're half ounce on that guy. So yeah, that dude's pretty cool right there. I like him a lot. Again, wake baits, going into wake baits right here. We've got big bait. This is a little wake bait that I like right here. It's a little hidden surprise right here that nobody really talks about right there. This is that bluegill. Big bait makes this right here. It's an oversized crankbait, and it comes in 2 sizes. I believe this is the smaller version. It comes in 2 colors. Reasonably priced, reasonably cool bait. Just a big bluegill profile bait that wakes. You can also crank it. I like fishing this guy around docks. When I get around docks and anything with cover, I'm running parallel with that dock and I'm just flipping it up in there. I throw this on Caesar's rod from Toxic Bait, the 764, the Sniper Swim. I like that guy. He's pretty cool. ABS. Again,
It's got some girth to it there.
it does. It's got that bluegill profile. Good looking bait. Original Wade Hog from Caesar, the Toxic Wade Hog. I like this bait right here. A lot of guys throw this in the river right here. If you're looking for a really big bite you're not going to get a lot of fish on this guy, but the ones that come up and kiss this bad boy are generally bigger fish.
And that's a standard out here. The guys that are in the know are all fishing. They love that bait.
Yep, no secret here. He has this new ABS out there. I don't have any in the shop just yet, but I will. I've got a bunch of these that he just produced. They're hard to come by now because he's switching over to the ABS.
See that thing?
But they're pretty sweet.
He's done a really good job with the paint on these.
Yeah, he does, and it's all rattle can too, which is pretty cool.
It's a nice looking bait.
It is.
Yeah,
It is, and it catches fish. It's a bit heavier than what I like. That's why the ABS came out, and they're cool because they're lighter. But again, I throw that on that 764. You get kind of, when you're throwing it around, it's a big bulky bait, and it makes big splash.
2 ounces?
I think it's around that 2.5 is what it is right there. It's a full resin bait. It's heavy. It's bulky. But again, it's cool. It knocks it, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, and you can crank it hard. The real hard school guys that fish this bait, they crank it. They don't even wake it. They just rip it down next to docks and everything, grass piles, stuff like that. Me personally, I like to wake it to where this tail's barely sticking out of the tip, out of the water right there, and it looks just like that. Makes that same noise as it's going down right there. And those fish will just come up, and generally it's just a big swirl, and you just apply pressure, and it just hooks them right on the top, gets that first hook in their lip. Everything perfect right out of the package with that guy. Great bait.
What else you got there? How about these new? Are these the Berkeley?
This is the new Snag-Proof Zoo Pup right here.
Okay, that's
Zoo Pop right there. We got a couple of them. We have the Zoo Pup, which is that guy. We have the Zoo Dog, which is just a bigger profile right there. Again, we're back into that soft stick bait right there. I think Snag-Proof did a really good job on these guys. A lot of guys are fishing these. I have yet to fish it. The way they put the hooks and the positioning and how it sits on the back, I really like them. And the popper's pretty sweet. This is the Snag-Proof Zoo Pop right there.
And these, you can throw these in places that you can't throw a spook.
Correct.
Because they're weedless.
Correct, yes. So you can actually walk that through the toolie column and knock all the toolies and get it to walk left to right. You can throw it up on the cheese. You can throw it in these little pockets. This popper right here is really special because it allows you to fish this guy like you would a normal popper. But let's say you have a big mat of grass and it's low tide and you see these pockets. It's grass, and then there's a little 2-foot pocket or something like that. This dude is great to cast past that pocket, bring it to that pocket, and just pop it once. And once it gets in that little hole, just have it sit there for a minute, pop, pop, pop. If there's anybody around that and he's staring at it, he's going to go for it. Again, and I go with that bluegill color just because I like that bluegill color. They come in all, the bone, the black, they're all good colors. whatever you like. They're pretty good.
And you know, when I first started looking at these, I was kind of looking at the hook, and I said, I wonder what the hookup ratio is. And I've talked to several guys that have been fishing these, and they said the hookup ratio is pretty darn good. It's not like, you know, frogs and things. The more weedless it is, the harder it's going to be for any bait to set a hook in. But pretty good hookup ratio with these. I guess this plastic is pretty soft.
It's the same material as the frogs, as Bobby's Perfect Frog Rod. And again, going back to it, I like how they positioned that hook in the back right there. So when that bait's doing its thing and that fish typically comes up and grabs the back of it right there, it's already engaged to go, and you're going to get that good hookup ratio on that
They
guy.
don't have to eat the whole thing.
They don't have to eat that whole thing. And there's no tail for them to grab, so it's not like your frog and you're watching your frog bob like this when they're grabbing that tail. They'll come up and just nick this bad boy on the back of it, and it's a done deal.
So Rob, that about covers it. And you know, we've covered frogs, poppers, buzz baits, some walking baits, some oddball little wake baits and things. You know what Rob has in here, and you really have to come into the shop and take a look at these, look at them when they're in your hand, feel the weight, think about what you're doing. You know, it takes a while to build up a full repertoire of topwater baits, of worms, of, you know, any one particular genre of bait. So you know what Rob has out here, and Rob, you've talked to people who come in here every day. You know how to get them in the right bait that's going to be kind of suited to their type of fishing. And a lot of guys that aren't throwing big, you know, that don't have swim bait style rods. You know, a lot of these little, whether they're rats or mice or poppers, you can throw with spinning rods.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Rob could get you into some nice topwater stuff that even buzz baits and stuff that you can throw with a spinning rod. Just have a lot of fun. So thanks for all that information, Rob. And you know, these are not just Delta specific. No. You can take any of these baits and fish them anywhere in the United States, and they're going to catch fish. So thanks a lot, Rob, and we'll see what we can do with these and get out and start catching some fish.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, see you guys on the water.